Hey pros, Crystal here from Elite Hair Care USA. So today we have my client here. She is getting a haircut. Can you show us a picture of the cut that you're getting? She is fully relaxed, but of course with any haircut, you typically, thank you so much, you typically want to do a fresh relaxer specifically for haircuts where you're going to have really short hair in certain places and longer hair in other places. So we are going to be cutting her down today, giving her a new look. My baby here is in college, if not have already graduated. I'm just old, y'all. But we are going to just get her into her grown woman status with this haircut. I'm super excited. So you guys stay on for the journey. See you shortly. All right, so we started off doing her haircut with what we call a preliminary cut. Just for added insurance, I like to kind of cut a little less than what the client is requesting at the beginning, because when you're dealing with a client who this is their first haircut, this is a life change for them. Also, when you're dealing with younger clients, you want to kind of give yourself some added insurance just in case they change their mind or something of that nature, which actually my client here, I've known her almost all of her life. I have always done her haircuts, but we have never done this short of a cut, and she is turning 21. So she has basically gotten to the point where she wants to not look 12 anymore. So that is the reason why she came in with the style that she chose. And of course, as a stylist, my job is to give her a rendition of that style. I don't mimic styles 100%. Mainly because every stylist is different, everyone's technique is different, and I am me. I am not the stylist that did the original work. So of course I'm going to give her that style to the best of my ability with a little bit of elite flair to it, and just of course give my client what she's asking for and make her as happy as possible. Now what I'm doing right now is reducing a lot of the density in the nape area. That is not an area where you want a huge amount of density unless it is requested or it is a part of that style that the client showed us in the picture. Now with her, she has a lot more density than the young lady in that picture. So of course, I am just going through and just kind of removing some of that, using a little bit of scissor over comb rather than using my fingers. And really, this is just all technique based, you guys. This can be achieved in so many different fashions. Some stylists might use razors, others might use shears, others might use clippers. Like, there's no right or wrong way to do this as long as you as a stylist is comfortable with how you're cutting and basically the techniques that you choose to use. Now, also when my client's hair is wet, at the end of the actual service when her hair dries, I do still go back through and do a little bit of detailing, because I know that when the hair is wet, it's extremely pliable and sometimes you could miss pieces, or you didn't cut enough, or you need to kind of change something. So that's another reason why even when my client's hair is wet, I'm still kind of in a preliminary phase because the cut is not 100% finished. But I do try to execute about 80% of my haircut at this phase of the process, depending on, of course, the client and exactly what the client has to work with. Now, another thing with her is we did do a full relaxer. So you guys didn't see that on camera, of course. But the relaxer was to ensure that we got everything on an even playing ground. And then for her mold, I used our Elite Silk Wrap Foam. Of course, you know, the Elite Silk Wrap Foam lays down almost anything. It's like liquid crack. No, but I used the Elite Silk Wrap Foam to lay her down. And then she went under the dryer. Because her hair is so dense, she was actually under the dryer for about almost an hour, almost. Reason being is once you use wrap foam, you really do not want to blow dry wrap foam. You want the wrap foam to dry thoroughly. You want the hair to lay properly, especially with clients who have a lot of density. And then the good thing is that once I did let it dry thoroughly after the fact, she's like, hey, I think I want my part to not be so far down anymore. I would think I want it to come farther up. So that is like the worst thing for a stylist. Reason being is you typically mold the short hair. So having to go back and cut hair that was not short, that was not molded, is the worst nightmare of a stylist. Because the hair doesn't lay properly. But instead of me using my shears, I went ahead and used my razor, which gave me a better blend. That's number one. And I just kind of had to just work with it. I really didn't have a choice here, you guys. But that's also the reason why I said at the beginning, I don't cut as much, mainly because I know clients like to change their mind. and they will typically sit under the dryer, look at pictures, they will observe themselves, they will look at themselves. And when you're giving someone a new haircut, these are the things that you deal with. But as a stylist, your job is to be very patient, very observant, listen to your client, and just work with what you have and just do your absolute best. So now what I'm doing is just using my blow dryer just to kind of silk out her hair. Even though she is relaxed, you guys, the hair does not dry bone straight, right? So a good relaxer has an S pattern, not bone dead blah. Okay, so blowing her out is just going to help to smooth that area out a little bit more before we start the flat ironing and take out any kinks and all of that good stuff. And then once we blow her out, which I know some of you, oh my gosh, why is he so rough? Oh my gosh, why are you so into my hands? But no, sidebar. I'm just preparing for someone who has something to always say, but just being funny. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start the curling process. And then I'm also just cleaning up her nape again. So I'm still using my clippers to remove a lot of the density. We're gonna fade out the area at the nape. That area is not an area that people typically want a lot of hair. Every time I have a client that says, oh, can you leave the hair down there? The next service they come and they say, can you take that hair off? It was so aggravating. So I kind of made it customary where I would still ask the client, if they want me to taper it out. But most clients, they don't even care. They really just don't want to have to deal with that area because it is very complicated to deal with after the fact. So once I went ahead and used my clippers to remove a lot of that density and then also do the fading in the area, that is when I went through and did a little more detailing with my razor. Now, you have to be very careful with razors when you're dealing with relaxed hair. It can cause split ends. Typically, they frown upon using razors on relaxed hair, which is something that we were taught in cosmetology school. But if you use it properly, it really does a great job. It kind of just helps you with the process. All right, so I am actually going to be using our Elite Silk, our Elite Anniversary 1-inch titanium flat iron for her hair. Like I said, she has a lot of density, so this is not going to hurt her. And then for the short areas, I just used the 3/10 of an inch pencil iron, where both of these irons are actually available on our website at elitehaircareusa.com. And then I use the pencil iron on the short areas just to kind of give it a little more oomph. And that, listen, the 3/10 of an inch iron is, I have not taken out another Marcel iron in so long. I have not used another iron. Like, this has been my go-to iron for years. Like, I absolutely adore this iron. It makes my life so simple. You guys see me using it all the time. I use it for almost anything that has short. Yeah, she jumped, guys. And then for the hairline, especially for my natural clients, it works out really, really well. So if you guys have not noticed, that area that was not molded is sticking right off of her head. This is the nightmare of a stylist because I cannot stand to see that hair sticking off my client's head because it did not get laid with the wrap foam, which is the purpose of the wrap foam. So at the end of the service, you guys will see kind of how I was able to handle that. Now I switched over to the 1-inch ceramic black diamond flat iron, which is also a H2 Pro product. This was actually working really, really well because after I noticed that her hair was nice and silky, I really didn't need the titanium iron, regardless of her density. So that's another reason why I switched to the 1-inch ceramic. Guys, I tell you guys all the time, not every tool is going to be used for everything, and you have to have different tools for different things. Just like in a kitchen, you can't use a spoon when you need a fork. You can't use a fork when you need a spoon. So that is why you want to make sure you have the right utensils for your hair. I know we take these things for granted, but it makes life so different when it comes on to styling your hair and just getting that finished look. Okay, so after I got finished with my curl, I did spray just a small amount of goddess polish on her hair just to kind of help seal the deal. And then I'm actually going to be using some of our Elite Control Edge Control for her hairline and also to lay that hair down that was not molded that we cut after the fact. This is not going to give her any type of ashiness. It's just going to really allow the hair to just kind of melt together. I don't use a lot of the Elite Control. I try not to use Edge Control like a gel. But for hairlines, that kind of thing, especially for like short hair, as you guys can tell, it gave her a nice mold. It gave her a nice slayage. It's not going to turn that chalky white color. You know what I mean? And she is relaxed. So that was the best part. Now, come on, you guys. Come through with the hairstyle. Okay, I need you guys to comment. Tell me what you guys thought about this finished look. I think it was absolutely amazing. It was adorable. It made me want to grow my hair back in the crown, but I just thought about that for 5 seconds and then I got over that. But for her, as her first haircut to introduce her to the world as a 21-year-old who is about to graduate college, it was just beautiful on her. And she wore it really, really well. Her mother was super happy. She was super happy. And I was so glad that she entrusted me to give her this haircut. And of course, for all the products I use, please visit EliteHairCareUSA.com. Comment down below. Tell me how you guys thought, what you like, what you hated, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.